Like a glancing chin-high fast bowl, issues in cricket are hot. Is there any future for the Test match? Do Shane Warne's endearing qualities soften his rough edges? And has the millennial generation found its Fab Four? The burning issues of cricket, here on The Burning Issue. They're run-scoring machines who've led the charge for their countries. In fact, they might be the new Fab Four. The millennial generation has produced its share of cricket stars, but few have carved out a larger chunk of history than four great batsmen, who've also shone as captains for their countries. Sharp-eyed, fiery Indian Virat Kohli. Baby-faced Aussie Steve Smith. Kiwi Kane Williamson. And England's Joe Rooty Root. Unlike the Fab Four of old, India's Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, Sourav Ganguly, and VVS Laxman, who terrorised bowlers through the late 90s and early 2000s, the new guard hail from different corners of the globe. The new four have had a stellar rise. Rooty made his Test debut at 19 in 2012. Carted a maiden Test century in 2013 against New Zealand. And rose to be the #2 ranked batsman in the world by 2017. The softly spoken Williamson's first mark on the cricket world was a doozy, scoring 131 runs in his first innings in 2010. Making him the 8th Kiwi to bag a ton on Test debut. Kohli, the hero of a cricket-mad nation, was ranked in the top 10 most famous athletes in the world in 2016, having arrived on the scene in 2011, and established himself as one of the most prolific run makers on Earth. And Smith arrived in the Australian Test team as a leg spinner, but has gone on to create one of the great modern legacies with the bat. He started a little slow, not making his first century until innings number 23. But the floodgates opened. In March 2017, following the third Test with India, he was the best batsman in the world, just scraping fellow Aussie great Ricky Ponting on the list of highest ever rating points according to the ICC's formula. Up next, the new Fab Four haven't just led their countries, they've carried them at times. There's no doubt we've witnessed one of the great eras of batting. In the 3 seasons leading up to 2017, it was clear how much the Fab Four contributed to their countries. Most notably, Williamson. 980 runs the gap between next highest scorer, Tom Latham. Kohli was miles ahead of the second most impressive Indian batsman. And David Warner was more useful, but still 323 runs lighter than his captain. Watching the new Fab Four emerge in 2014, former New Zealand captain Martin Crowe predicted they would all one day lead their nations. Kohli was first, stepping into the captain's chair in December 2014. Smith inherited Michael Clarke's job when he retired following the Ashes series in 2015. Williamson became captain in all 3 forms of international cricket for NZ in 2016. And Rooty fulfilled the prophecy in February 2017, when he became England's 80th captain. Kohli summed up the ingredients all four had in spades.
Captaincy it's not just about handling 11 guys or 10 more guys on the field or having a squad and interacting with the management. It comes in with the whole package of interacting with the media, having people expect things out of you in a very different way, having the onus of the whole country, to be honest, on your shoulders as far as the sport is concerned. So it's very different to how individuals react to it.
True to form, Rooty claimed a Test victory over South Africa at Lord's on debut as captain, also scoring his 12th Test century with an innings of 190. Despite England's semi-final exit in the 2017 Champions Trophy to Pakistan, Rooty had gained the respect of his teammates.
And they've been very good in listening to what I've had to say and hopefully been taking it on board.
England bowler Stuart Broad agreed.
He's obviously learning on the job slightly because he got into the England team at such a young age. You don't get much chance to experience captaincy at county level.
Let's not mistake these guys for perfect. None of them could guide their country to victory in the 2017 Champions Trophy. But if we combine the performances of these four superstars en route to their captaincies, the sheer terror they've struck into their opposition, it's safe to say the new guard has its Fab Four. At his most dangerous, retired Aussie leg spinner Shane Warne could turn the ball on more ridiculous angles than anyone. A gift that saw him claim 1,001 international wickets in his career. Warne played an integral role in a dominant era of Australian cricket. Following the 5-0 thrashing of England in the 2007 Ashes, he called it straight.
I think we're a long way ahead of the next best side. As we can see, England are rated the second best side, and to win 5-0 is you can't be any more comprehensive than that. So there is a good gap between Australia and the next best side, and that's not being arrogant, that's just facts.
Former England captain Nasser Hussain spoke of facing the Aussie spin king.
We always had a battle, but I was not on my own there. Everyone that's ever played against Shane Warne has had a battle.
Because of Warnie's freakish talent, he became one of the most public faces in international cricket, which has had its moments, because he's always been a little rough around the edges. Many of his troubles have stemmed from being, let's say, a bit loose with his relationships, caught sending the odd inappropriate text to a variety of women. After his marriage ended, Warnie hooked up with English actor Elizabeth Hurley in 2010, and the two got engaged the following year. Somehow, Warnie always stood out in the super glossy world of high fashion and A-list film stars. But he embraced it nonetheless, like when Hurley released her line of bed linen.
Shane loves my bedroom taste. He loves it. We've been testing these in our bedrooms at home and seeing which one we like best.
As saucy as it got, the pair announced they'd cancelled the engagement in 2013. It's just one of the many ways Warnie's life went from rough to bunker at times. He was sent home from the 2003 World Cup and banned for a year for taking a prohibited diuretic, even though he cried innocent.
I'm shocked because I do not take performance-enhancing drugs and never have, and do not condone them in any way, shape or form.
Turns out his mum had given him the pill to help battle the bulge. All his carry-on prompted Aussie actor Eddie Perfect to stage Shane Warne the Musical in 2013. Amid the mess, there's something you can't help but admire about Warnie. On duty for English county side Hampshire in 2007, and on his 37th birthday, he suffered a cut above his eye. But, rough as he looked, Warnie rolled with the punches at his book launch the following day.
it started off okay. It was a pretty good day, but at the end of the day, we lost the game, which was a bit disappointing, and to end up getting hit wasn't too good either. Probably not the best birthday present, but look, that's just the way it goes.
He's kind of unashamedly rough. Like in 2015, while in the US promoting 2020 cricket, along with fellow legend Sachin Tendulkar. Warne had just finished explaining how little interest the game had in America when he fielded a question about how much interest the game had in America.
Sorry, sir, if you've got your earpiece and you can't hear, we've actually been saying that the whole time. Did you hear when the first game was? We're actually going okay. So it's all okay, mate. Just relax and take a deep breath.
He also suffered through explaining the rules.
I think educating cricket, when you actually break it down, you take 2 minutes to concentrate on it, it's actually pretty simple. It is very, very simple. If you hit the ball over the fence, you get 6. If it goes long ground, it's 4. And if you equate it to baseball terms, there's first base, second, third base. We'll run a single, 2 or 3. That's it. We're trying to hit the stumps and they're trying to hit it out the park. It's not that hard.
And this raises another point. Warner's poured huge amounts of energy back into the game that made him. The US tour a good example.
It's easy if we took all these players to India or England or Australia or, or anywhere those guys where they play cricket, people will flock to it and they've had that opportunity to see them. I'd still love it, but we want to start where it's difficult, so we always like a challenge, and we sort of think of ourselves as the Harlem Globetrotters of cricket. We're giving free coaching to kids, we're going to schools, we're inviting kids down to training.
The trip to the States involved playing an exhibition 2020 match against his old rival and India's greatest batsman, Tendulkar, with whom he had a humble relationship.
To us to play against each other, as much as we're mates, as soon as we cross that line, it's looking like, okay, who's going to have bragging rights? And all the history about what happened beforehand doesn't matter. If I can get him out in one of these games, we can all sit at the bar and say, hey, Sachin, who got you out today, mate? And vice versa. He can say, hey, Shane, how'd you bowl today? How many sixes did I hit off you?
As it turned out, Warne got bragging rights, winning the match and taking Tendulkar's wicket in the process.
2 great cricketers, and what a good catch there.
Warne also stepped in to impart some knowledge to the Aussies during the 2013 Ashes series.
I suppose when I've done it for 25 years, I'm sure I've got a little bit of knowledge I can help them with.
And in 2017, he was reportedly approached to become India's coach. He's also big on charity. In the aftermath of the Boxing Day tsunami in Sri Lanka 2004, Warne made an appearance to raise funds and lift spirits. So while he's a bit rough around the edges, the flashes of diamond that shine through Warne can be endearing. Coming up, with the stellar rise of T20 cricket, is the Test match bound for extinction? When England snatched a stunning victory in the 2017 Women's World Cup, thanks to a 6-wicket obliteration from Anya Shrubsole, England captain Heather Knight put out the call.
I think it does kind of feel as a player as if it's sort of a really big moment for women's cricket.
She wasn't wrong. The tournament was a ratings bonanza. So for anyone still unsure whether women's cricket has arrived, let's break down some of the numbers. An estimated 180 million viewers across the tournament, a 300% increase on 2013. 156 million of those viewers were in India. In the UK, 1.1 million watched the final. That's 400,000 more than the Champions Trophy final. And more than the average 1 million who watch a Premier League game. Lords sold out for the final too, which was an extra buzz.
It's a bit crazy, really. I never thought I'd sort of play in a World Cup final at Lords in front of sort of 26,000 people.
The increase was driven by the International Cricket Council's commitment to make every game available, either on TV or online. So bravo, ICC. But there was more to it than just upping access. The performances were outstanding. ICC Chief Executive David Richardson agreed, saying, "The cricket was competitive and compelling. And when you have that, it makes it much easier to attract an audience." When you look at the increase in sixes and centuries over the tournaments from 2009 to 2017, you get an idea just how compelling. It's clear the girls' athleticism has gone through the roof. One of the finest examples was India's Harmanpreet Kaur, who went bananas in the semi-final against Australia, carting 171 from 115 balls, which included 7 sixes. For all the young girls watching,
a lot of us growing up looked to the men's game and looked to sort of older brothers, fathers, to get us involved and get us our inspiration. And it's great now that young girls can watch women, whether it's cricket or whatever sport it is, playing sport and it to be normal, and hopefully that'll get a lot more girls active and involved.
So yeah, women's cricket has gone gangbusters. And you'd think that with 180 million viewers worldwide, we could start talking Turkey about cash. While the English took home 15 times the prize money of the 2009 winners, looking at the 2017 final compared to the 2015 men's final, where for winning, the Australians earned almost twice as much as the entire prize pool for the ladies, there's clearly still a long way to go to reach proper recognition. The 2017 Women's World Cup was a breakthrough and grounds for the pay grade to start matching the performance. With dwindling attention spans and T20 cricket going bananas, is the Test match doomed? At the launch of the T20 Global League in South Africa in 2017, former England batsman Kevin Peterson was asked if 2020 will replace Test cricket.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it is, just because of the fans. And look at this, I mean, look at this launch. It's a huge launch. There's a lot of money that's driven into launches like this. We're in the Bulgari Hotel in Knightsbridge, so they've paid a lot of money for it. You don't launch a Test series at the Bulgari.
Traditionalists will spit venom, but 2020 is going ballistic. 186 million viewers tuned in for the first 3 matches of the 2017 Indian Premier League, up 15% on the previous year. And we all know ratings drive the ship. Dwindling attention spans no longer seem capable of following 30 hours of Test cricket, 3 days of which are on weekdays. With this in mind, by 2025, India's population, the most cricket-mad on Earth, will have 750 million people under 25. It's why the push to break into the American market, the home of short attention spans, is likely to be cracked with the shortened form.
The short form of the game is T20, and I know Americans like sport to be over and done with in a matter of a couple of hours. So that's why I believe that this T20 event will take off here in America.
2020 has produced some exciting developments. There are fewer variables from match to match, more repetitive scenarios, and players can partake in up to 50 matches a year, allowing for much more data to be gathered and preparation to be far more informed. New Zealand batting coach Trent Woodhill sees it as a cure for archaic approaches. A lot of what players do on game day is based on praying to the cricket gods, or what they've always done, rather than actually getting ready for that first ball. Windies legend Brian Lara pointed out that it's suited to much more exciting batsmen like India's Virat Kohli.
I think the game has changed. It's a lot more innovative. The batsmen are trying a lot more, especially with the T20 version of the game. You know, it allows them to really and truly just free themselves up, and he's been doing that in all forms of the game.
How serious does the new guard take T20 cricket? This was West Indies captain Darren Sammy, after his side and the women's team both won the 2016 ICC World 2020.
You see these eyes? No sleep. No voice. My voice is gone. I partied all throughout the night.
But the test format might not be entirely doomed.
The Ashes, Pakistan versus India, the South Africa versus England, I think those will really, really stay and they'll stand the test of time. But all the other ones, I'm afraid to say, I don't think will be in existence in the next 5 to 10 years. It'll just be franchise T20s. And that's where it is. Everyone's fast-paced and people will shoot me down for saying it, but watch, I said a lot of things in my life.
Again, Peterson could be onto something. If Test cricket is cut back to only the best teams, there'll become more special events, and younger audiences might be more drawn to the novelty. Former Sri Lanka captain Tilakaratne Dilshan pointed out as he retired that Tests are the cornerstones of skill building.
A lot of youngsters try to play T20 and one days, but I'm giving advice to them, make sure they should enjoy Test cricket first, then they can enjoy one days and T20.
But with T20's booming rock star status, good luck getting young cricketers to keep Tests as their #1 priority. Let's throw up a manly question. Who has the baddest cricket moustache? Former Aussie paceman Mitchell Johnson had a scorching set of handlebars. Ironically, Johnson was known for his chin music. Chin music being a series of bounces bowled at a batsman's head, for those wondering.
Yeah, what's that? Oh, yeah.
Indian Shikhar Dhawan has sported a more artistic number on the lip over the years. While he cleaned things up in his coaching days, England's Graham Gooch was well mustachioed as a player. As was the mighty Merv Hughes, although he still wore it proudly even when the greys kicked in. Believe it or not, Big Merv has a rival. Fred the Demon Spofford was the first bowler to take 50 Test wickets, and in 1879 claimed the first Test hat-trick. No wonder. That stash bearing down on you would have been terrifying. Still to come, most people believe cricket was invented in England. But are they wrong? Legend has it that cricket originated in England around 1550. The first hard evidence is in a letter dated 1598 that references chaps playing a game in the village of Guildford that they called cricket. While it probably started as a fun pastime for children, by the early 1600s, gentlemen had taken up bat and ball. And by the 18th century, the game had become more organised, driven by wealthy types betting on games. The first English team to tour set sail in 1859, where they played in Canada and America. Fatefully, the American Civil War broke out 18 months later, preventing follow-up tours, which could have spread the game. As it was, by the time the English returned in 1868, baseball had taken off, and cricket failed to get a foothold in the US of A. Now, the English are very proud to have spawned a sport that is now second in popularity, only to football around the world. But there's a dispute over where cricket started, and you're gonna love which country is claiming ownership. A letter to King Louis XI, dated all the way back in 1478, makes reference to a game played with balls and a wooden post called cricket. That's right, folks. It's possible cricket was actually invented by the French. And get this, reportedly the letter was written by a young man watching the participants from afar. But he had to split when one of them yelled at him for staring and a fight broke out, from which one poor sod died. Geez, back in the day, if someone pulled you up for gawking, they clearly meant it. Fistfights aside, can't you just hear the rumble of English outrage that their beloved game could have been born by their great cross-channel rivals? Especially because cricket in France these days barely gets a mention. There is a potential counterpunch, though. Much of France in the 14th and 15th century was under English occupation as a result of the 100 Years' War. So it's possible the English introduced it to the French in an even more primitive form. Truth is, we might never know. But as with all the burning issues of cricket in this episode, it's been fun fanning the flames. Thanks for watching.
You cannot be serious!